One ship. 11 Kerbals. 437 parts. 1,877 tons. And a third of 1,000,000 liters of propellant. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Joolpollo. There she is in all of her beauty, all of her horrible, terrible, terrifying beauty. This ship is the work of many, many hours, and I almost gave up on it. It takes roughly from starting the game to getting this thing ready to launch takes 10 minutes. Most of that is after I've clicked on launch. So we are going to get this thing into orbit, and then we're going to talk about what the heck this thing's going to do. So in 3, 2, 1, launch. And there we go. Kind of slow off the pad. Slower, honestly, than I thought it would be. A little concerned that not all the engines are going, but they are. Okay. I did test this thing. It will get into orbit. I gotta turn down my personal volume. It will get into orbit. And I think the first thing I drop are these outside tanks, if I remember correctly. Wait, no, this tank. Yeah, these outside tanks are the first things to go. And then they're followed very shortly by the solid fuels, if not the solid fuels actually go first, which is concerning, we'll say. This... I can't even see the decoupler on this thing. There it is. Okay, yeah, it's the next one. Okay, let's check out these drop tanks now. They're almost out. Yeah, they're going to drop before the solids, but not too much. Yeah, this thing is scary. Obviously. There it goes. Goodbye, drop tanks. Sorry, Kerbal Space Center. It is outside the physics window, so they will vanish before hitting the ground. The solids are almost gone. Goodbye, solids. Please don't hit anything on your way down. And we're going good. Okay, these tanks here, these 4 on the outside are all going to drop at the same... Or actually, I'm sorry. These 4 on the outside, we're still using full thrust. These 4 drop tanks are going to drop when these are out. And then these 4 with the big boosters on them are going to drop all together. And then this is what's going to Jool. I'm not going to tell you too much about the mission because this mission is so complex. I figure it'll be better to just watch it. But after we drop these outside tanks here, I'm going to start getting ready for my gravity turn. Yeah, we're nowhere near atmospheric efficiency, nor will we ever get to it. But it's a lot of weight in here on the launch. I'm very proud of this thing's stability. That was the main problem with this thing, was getting it to be stable through every drop of everything and making sure the drops don't destroy things and, you know, doing all that while keeping the part count down. Was, let's say, a challenge, shall we? Okay, here go the drop tanks, and now. There they go, just slide their way off the ship. Nicely done. Okay, our apoapsis is almost at 10,000. When it gets to 12, we're going to start our gravity turn. This is the core of the booster, though, and all of the stuff that you just saw was just to help this thing get into space. This was like basically the original thing that I was attempting to get into space, and of course, it was never working because it just didn't have the oomph to get all the stuff I needed to get into space. I changed the... Excuse me, I changed the ship itself around. This ship is extremely complex in the planning. Almost nothing that I could manage to skip duplication on has been duplicated. If you look in here, you'll see all these command pods and all these science bays and stuff. Those were all required, all these command pods here. These were all required for the mission parameters. And the mission parameters are that I'm going to bring home a vessel from every orbit and every surface. I am not doing Lathe Oceans, and I am not landing on Jool, obviously. But other than that, I'm gonna bring home a vessel from Jool orbit. I'm gonna bring home a vessel from Pole, Bop, Lathe, orbit around all those, and landed on all those. And one that flew in Jool, in Jool's atmosphere. So yeah, that's the high plan. That's all I'm going to tell you now. The rest of it you're going to have to watch happen as it happens. Here we're almost to 30,000, and we still got half the fuel in these tanks, which is awesome. According to this thing, we still have about 13,000 meters per second, so we're going to be using some of the drive fuel here to get into orbit, but honestly, that is perfectly fine. This thing, I haven't run it through full testing, as in I didn't take this thing to Jool and stuff, but just my back-of-the-envelope calculations while after getting this thing into orbit, because I did successfully get into orbit once just to make sure it would do that. I should have so much fuel, it's going to be disgusting, and I want so much fuel, it's going to be disgusting, because I'm terrified of the idea of getting to Jool and having to send a refueler. I want to do this in one mission, so I tried to over-engineer, which is something I don't generally do in this. I generally try to cut the margins exact, and this time the margins are so hard to calculate that I just didn't bother, and I'm just letting it go. Also, because everything's connected with docking ports, I think that a lot of these calculations think that we're going to be using the fuel in those ships that are in the docking ports. Okay, we're at 50,000 meters. We just reached orbit mode. We're almost going to drop our these tanks, and we're looking really good. We're at 55. I basically want to be pointing east. We're getting a little rotation, but that's not a big deal. As soon as we drop these, I can show you some of the stability things that I did to this ship. Please don't crash into my ship. Thank you. Now we've revealed the ship itself. This was a key stability thing, was this. These two girders with the strut between them. I don't think this ship would work without this. This is critical to getting it, to getting the ship going. All of these struts are really important. Here, hold on a second. We're almost at 80. I'm not going to cut the throttle. I am going to throttle down when we reach about 79. There we go. Because this thing is pretty wobbly. These things being all strutted to this is really important, because these things are all connected by juniors, and that would cause major wobble. There's also struts connecting this to this, and this to this guy to this guy to this. Is just, I strutted the ELF out of this thing. But yeah, this is it. We've got a dragonfly. I call it the double dragonfly because it's got 4 wings on each side. I still haven't unlocked the big wings, so I couldn't make something with, like, I have the delta wings, but I don't have the I don't know, the square wings that you can connect the delta wings to. This guy is my lander. And yeah, you'll notice there's only one lander. We'll get into that later. And this is the guy who's doing all the transfer stages. Everybody has monoprop and things, so these guys can shuttle each other around. We've got 5 packages, one for Jool, one for Jool and one for each moon except for Lathe, because Lathe's package is attached to the Dragonfly. Yeah. Kind of crazy. So we're going to get this guy into orbit. I'm going to plot all my Jool transfers and stuff. I'm not going to make you watch that. And I am going to come back when we are at Jool. And I just realized we have science to do. Might as well do our atmospheric analysis now. Keep it. We'll catch it later. It's either this guy or this guy. We got 2 atmospheric analyses. One for Jool, one for Lathe, because we're not bringing them back once we use them. But yeah, kind of crazy when you look at this ship. Oh, the other thing I can do is I can stage these now. And they are the next thing to go. I'm going to hit F5 because I'm terrified that it's not going to work. Oh. Yeah, that was really supposed to drag those away. And it did not. Even though they're not actually attached. That was weird. What, did I have them faced? Yeah, there's only one on each one. Oh, they're pushed inwards, not outwards. I'm a moron. Okay, well, we're in space now, and we're never going to have enough acceleration to matter as far as that's concerned. So, oh, one thing we got to do here is open the solar panels. And I told you I was gonna leave you, but yeah, basically every piece of this ship has a specific function, if not multiple specific functions. And if you're curious about any of it, just wait, because every piece of this is going to get used. There's a reason why there's things here and not here. It's just, yeah, it's amazing. By the end of this thing's going to be an empty husk, and then we're going to come home. And I have plans for that as well. So let's see, we're a minute away from circularizing our orbit. These things have wandered far enough that we shouldn't have to worry about them. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I will be back when we are on our way to Jool. Okay, we are in Jool's sphere of influence. We have a periapsis of almost exactly 120 kilometers, which the aerobraking calculator tells me is a little too low for what I want, but I'm going to go for it anyway because I've got the plane, and I think it gives me a little bit of lift. It's also going to give me a little bit of drag, I think. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to plan a maneuver at my periapsis. Or close to my periapsis. I'm just going to give a little bit of prograde so I know which way is forward. And then I'm going to rotate my ship that way. And then, let's see, Jool should be this way somewhere. There it is. Off there in the distance. Yeah, you always know when you're approaching a planet from below, as it were, that planet's always going to catch up to you. So it's always to the left of the sun if you're looking at the sun, and you have up in the system as up on your screen, which it always is if you're in some sort of normal mode here. Auto mode, I guess. So I'm just rotating my little ship around here. We are going a fairly stately 2 kilometers per second, which is probably going to get really high when the time comes. Much more than 2 kilometers per second. I'm also going to flip my ship over. I'm going to kill rotation. Then I'm going to actually rotate my ship so that when I come in... Oh, you know what? The ship was rotated correctly before, I think. No, because we're going to be coming in on the... We're going to be swinging around Jool this way. So I want the tail of my plane to be up. For absolutely no reason other than the fact that I want it that way. And I installed a new mod, the crew transfer mod. I don't remember the name of it. I should really look these things up before... before I start talking. But, yeah, I'm going to just leave it like this and pretend it's good here. Okay. Yeah, if I right-click on a lander can that somebody's in, which pretty much all these lander cans have somebody in them, it tells me who this person is. And then if I alt right-click on an empty can, which I don't know if this can is empty. Yeah, no, I can't transfer the people because there's only one. But there are a couple empty cans somewhere here. This can is empty, so I can transfer Nathan out of the airplane, and now he's in the pod. So, okay, another thing I want to do is I want to do an EVA report. Whoever got the joy of doing that EVA report, go ahead and take it. High over Jool. Keep that data, hop back in. Then we can do a crew report from somewhere, doesn't really matter where. Keep that data. And we can also, even though it's not telling, oh, now it's telling me. Or is it? Crew report, high over Jool. Did I not keep the data? Maybe I reset it. Oh, this mod's buggy again. High over Jool. I'm not gonna keep that data. Okay, let's because we should be able to also take high over Jool materials based science. Yes, we can. And high over Jool mystery goose science. And we'll keep those as well. And then we're going to get low over Jool, and then low over Jool, and then this is going to be destined to be my flying at Jool. But that's coming up later. That's quite a ways from now. So, we're now basically aimed correctly. Jool is way off there in the distance. We've got our science, even though this thing doesn't think we do. I am going to hit F5 to make a quick save. And then now we're going to aerobrake and see if I totally screw aerobraking up. So, let's go ahead and speed up time here. I just remembered I put a maneuver node there so I don't have to worry about slowing down. Here comes Jool. Oh boy. Oh geez. I just remembered. Close the alarm and unpause. Close these. Retract the panels. Retract the panels. Retract the panels. And retract the panels before the atmosphere absolutely destroys the ship. Okay. And there's no more solar panels open, I don't think. You know, the only other openable solar panels, there's 2 on this guy, and they're closed, and then there's ones on these guys somewhere. These guys have solar panels on them. And each one of those has a purpose. Okay, I am going to control from here, I think. So up is up. Oh, and look at that. Look, ball in the distance there. So we are rotating. We are still not in the atmosphere. So let's go ahead and speed ourselves up and get in the atmosphere here. Oh, this is terrifying. Okay, we are now in the atmosphere of Jool. And I cannot, for the obvious reason, do any sort of time speeding. Here comes the aerobraking. I cannot add to my how long everything takes. I just have to let this happen, which kind of sucks because I also have to redo this if my apoapsis is wrong. So this could be boring. I am going to quit out of the game, or not quit out of the game, stop recording, I should say, and I will be back when we have an apoapsis that I like, or something horrible happens. Actually, we might be able to do crew report from space near Jool. I forgot to do. Let's go ahead and do that. And I just remembered I wanted to do this. Observe the materials bay in space near Jool. Anytime you're ready there. Space near Jool. And mystery goo from space near Jool. Yeah, I'm getting like 8 frames per second. The goo feels right at home here. Well, that's good. Okay. Don't need this maneuver node anymore. Yeah, we're actually doing okay. I might keep you here for the first one. If the first one's good, then we're good. Yeah, which is a bit of a redundant statement. But if the first encounter brings us down too low, I won't make you sit through the second one. Because ideally, I want my apoapsis to be somewhere between, what is this, Pole and, is this Tylo? Yeah, Pole and Tylo. Somewhere in this region is where I want my apoapsis to end up. So we'll see if that actually happens here. Getting some crazy... Oh, I think we're Almost captured. There we go. We're captured. And we're coming in very flat, which is nice. That'll make my future endeavors fairly easy. Oh, we got crew report. Space near Jool still. It's annoying that that thing does that, and quick saving and quick loading takes too long. It takes too long to quick load this guy after you've quick saved him. Okay, our apoapsis is coming down a little bit faster than I was hoping. We are still going down, so yeah, I have a feeling that this is too low. I might need to go up to like 22 or so. Oops, I just kept the data. See, keeping these crew reports is bad because I need to consolidate them all, and it's going to be a pain in the butt to find them, but I can always hop out and grab them and hop back in when the time comes. How are we doing as far as... Yeah, see, we're still very low. Yeah, so this is too low. Oh. Sadly, I can't use that. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try... Let's try a couple things here. Let's try speeding up time. Even 4 times works. I am the impressed. We'll see when we come out of here. We'll see, because we might be able to use a moon to... There we go. That's better. We might be able to use a moon to change our orbit and get a better one. Because if we could get a encounter with Lathe, let's set it as our target here. Yeah, see, if we could get an encounter with Lathe, that would give us a decent apoapsis around Jool. I would definitely take that, because that's kind of job 1 is getting that. So let's add our apoapsis. Let's plan a maneuver to bring ourselves out here. Yeah, see, we're not getting any sort of encounter with Lathe, and we're not going to until we get all the way out here. And that actually makes things worse unless we give it a little bit more oomph, so we go on the other side of it. See, something like that, 584 meters per second might be worth it. No, I think I'm going to reload. Okay, I will be back when we have a better apoapsis around Jool. Okay, we are back. We have an apoapsis of just over 100,000 kilometers, which is pretty much what I was hoping for. Like I said, between Tylo and Bop. So, out here, we are going to set ourselves up so that we... Let's go ahead and do it right at the apoapsis. Might as well be efficient. And let's just a little burn to get our periapsis up above the atmosphere, which it would be there. Tiny little 8 meter per second burn. And then we're gonna do stage 1 of this mission here, and stage 1 is to take this guy and slap a one of the what do we call these things? One of the lander cans that doesn't have any solar panels on it. Slap that on the front of this guy. Slap the atmospheric nose cone on the front of this guy, and then he's going to come back down and go through the atmosphere of Jool and get the flying at Jool science, and then burn these engines to get him back out of the atmosphere of Jool, so that he can re-meet up with our ship. This is going to be a long mission. We're going to do a lot of these things one at a time, and there's very good reason for that, and that is because everybody has to come back to the ship, and a lot of these ships have multiple uses. Like, this guy isn't just going to go into Jool and bring back the atmospheric science. He is then, his job after that is, he's a tugboat. He's taking that lander and the lathe ship and everything. He's taking those things to each planet and then bringing them back. So he has a lot of jobs. So his first job is to get us in orbit around Jool, or to get us low Jool science, but he's got to come back after that because he has a lot more work to do than just that. So we're going out here. We need to keep a vigilant eye on all these other moons here because they can cause us massive problems. We like flying us out of the system and things like that. So we got to keep an eye on that. It's an 8 meter per second burn, which means it's basically a nothing burn, and it's actually not even going to be an 8 meter per second burn. I'm basically going to tap the engines and be done with it. So I'm actually also going to thrust limit them down to 6.5. I think that's the lowest you can go. Oh, 6 apparently you can go to. Let's see if I can get this guy down to 6. 5.5. There we go. 6 is fine. Okay, so now we are going to watch our periapsis. We're going to get it above 200 by... I actually don't know what Jool's atmosphere height is, and I should know that. Because I would like it to be fairly close to the top of the atmosphere, because my Jool probe is going to go down and then get the science and then have to burn back up. So I'm trying to waste as little fuel as possible. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to pause and I'll be back in a second when I know what Jool's atmosphere height is. Okay, it's like 138, so 151 is perfectly fine. Okay, let's get this party started. Now, job 1 here is we need to, let's see, this guy has no ladders and no nothing. He is a normal lander can. He also has Nathan in him, and Nathan, you are not destined to do this mission. This mission is Banana's mission. He's one of the people who have not been, let's say, lucky enough to do anything. So we're going to give him the first shot here. Let's go ahead and EVA you. Then we are going to hop back, find Bananas. There you are. Let's go ahead and EVA him. Where is he? He's over here. Okay, so now get back in. And then you get back in. And then we are going to go here. And then Alt, was it this one? Bananas. Yeah, we're going to transfer. Oh, that didn't work? Oh, that sucks. Okay, fine. Nathan, get out. Or actually, wait. I need to find a probe where nobody's in. Okay, nobody's in here. Nathan, you get to be in the plane for a while. Let's go ahead and get Nathan out of here. And then let's get Bananas into here. Transfer Bananas. Okay, now, Bananas, get... let's see. Disconnect this. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I have a fairly good idea here. So let's decouple this node. Actually, let's hit F5. I think this is an F5-able moment right here. Let's go ahead and decouple the node. Okay, now, you're not going to be doing any science here. Let's turn your RCS on. Okay, and you have RCS in your tank, right? Yeah, you have plenty. Okay, that would have been a restore from F5 moment. Okay, now we need to get this thing, and it's bothering me that you are so... But anyway, now we need to go back to this guy. And no, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm making this kind of up as I'm going along. We're going to decouple this. Okay, now we're going to switch back to you. We're going to let that fly by us. Assuming it doesn't hit us. It looks like it's not going to. Okay, now we're gonna rotate around here, and then we're gonna turn the RCS back on.